comes up with a steal. She said, act like there's only 2 minutes left. Didn't want them to think there was 10. Clark, oh my! Welcome to the national championship game.
To stop turning the ball over. That was a big problem for them in the first couple of minutes.
Here's Clark getting some space and knocks it down. Sonato gets it back to Clark with space. She got it. Third three of the quarter for Caitlin Clark. Here's Clark pedaling through. Sonato trying to get it back to her. Clark again. She's almost fictional at this. Not only have they shot it well from the floor, they have shot it well from the free throw line. 10 of 11. That is not characteristic of them. Clark knocks down a three. Best offensive rebounder in the country. Clark behind the back, separates and hits.
To help out on her, and she read it beautifully with that pass.
Clark playing with 3 fouls. Clark separates and knocks down another. A title game record 7-3. Since 3:51 to go in the third. Clark separates and knocks down a three.
She heard you.
Caitlin Clark has been on this unbelievable run. Does Isla have one more left in her? As Clark lays it in, her first 2-point field goal of the game. Caitlin Clark.
Willing and capable of pushing in transition and scoring quickly.
Here's Clark working around Fletcher. Caitlin Clark has Iowa on the board first. Was on Saxton. South Carolina, a very deep team. Clark looking to turn the corner, lays it in through the contact for Caitlin Clark. And an 8-2 lays it in. Zaya Cook off to a terrific start here in the semifinals. Clark will fire and hit from 3.
Defensively, Dawn Staley can go with this giant lineup inside.
Clark turns the corner and lays it in. 9 points for Caitlin Clark. And unlike Boston, Clark is going to remain on the floor. Clark fading and hitting. Ends a little 6-0. Sydney Falter gets it into the arms of Clark. Clark gets it across the timeline. A deep three is good. First half from our outstanding crew, including Carolyn Peck, honored at halftime, headed to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. So will she someday. Caitlin Clark. Here is Clark. Clark spinning into the paint, gets to the cup, and reverses it in. To the arms of Marshall. Here is Clark. Clark goes around Fletcher. The leaner is good. You almost feel
Carolina at every position.
Clark has the mismatch. Oh, Caitlin Clark. Now you see her, now you don't.
Between your big 6'7" Cardoso, easily passing it over to 6'5" Boston.
Clark gets a clean look and knocks it down. 14 points and 11 rebounds. Here's Clark. A deep one. You bet! Caitlin Clark! Clark burning by Beal. Caitlin Clark lays it in.
Displacing.
Clark curling around. Clark trying to work around Beal. She does. Caitlin Clark has 35.
There they go.
Got it to Warnock. Clark able to get back to it. 15 to shoot. Clark all the way in. Lays it home. There you go, partner. What we're going to see tomorrow night from Ohio State. But Louisville, a terrific defensive team as Clark finally shakes free and gets Iowa on the board.
Well, Harris, of course,
Here's Van Lith, has it stolen by Clark. Clark trying to outrace Cochran, able to pizza pie it home.
And what do we see now? Transition. This is where Iowa really flourishes, when they can get out quickly.
Clark connects on a three, 7 straight from Caitlin Clark. Afterwards, Clark looking to shake free. Clark, step back three, is good.
When they've had a big defender on her, post down the floor. She is an excellent rim runner.
Here's Clark, guarded by Robinson. Clark firing again. Oh my! Caitlin Clark, a showstopper. Belongs to Iowa, so it's going to stay here. Here's Clark, open in the corner. She got it. That is not where you want to leave Caitlin Clark. This pass that she makes look so casual. Clark will fire and hit. The walking. That one won't drop. Another rebound, Warnock, who's having a huge game.
That's not the shot.
Clark connects on a three. Timeout, Louisville. Double this season, the 43rd of the junior's career. Here's Clark wide open. You bet. 31 for the Maestro. Knocked away, Marshall, Clark to the rim.
On the defensive end with getting some of those turnovers Lisa Bluter was talking about.
Narika Kono into the game for Louisville. Clark decides to take, why not?
And Jones just threw it.
Open look here for Chapman, and it's around and out. And Sonata with the rebound. She hauls in about 7 a game. Look at Clark. Yes! She gets to that logo. You're grabbing money. That's who they want to take the shot.
Absolutely, and it's because of her attitude, not her statistics. She has the guts to pull a shot like that in the clutch.
Clark straight on, and nothing but net for the All-American.
Speaking of guts.
Clark on the move, leaning in. Yes, and a foul. But she also had a lot of opportunities that did not go her way. Martin will flip back for Clark. She'll launch it. Got it.
A lot at it or get a block with those long arms. Decided better of it. Great discipline by Clark, but a strong steal and finish by Georgia once again.
Clark with an open look. Swishes in the triple. To go. The player of the year candidate, Clark with it. Trying to make a move. Using the window for 2. 42.8 in Louisiana. And Gazzardo, the head coach. Her team rallied twice in the Southland Conference tournament for wins, and that one dead on. Right on the money. I think about 38% from the three-point line. Inside, Sonata can't get it to go. Clark with a little fall away, got it.
Oh boy. The fader! What will the team do without said player? And for me, you take Caitlin Clark off the floor. I mean, that just creates so many issues for Iowa.
Tough shot there. Got it to go past Cunningham.
If you're the first, second, or third line of defense, that's a problem for you. She applies so much pressure with what she does with the ball.
Clark with a triple. Yes. She is sizzling right away.
Awesome. I love her. So she was a cum laude graduate. I was a thank you, Lordy. Graduate.
Clark on the spin inside and banks it in and draws a foul too. Foul on
goal throughout the summer and the workouts that you do in the fall and non-conference portion of the season.
Clark again beating everyone to the opposite end for 2. This is off to a great start.
I mean, Caitlin Clark is on triple-double watch, and we're not even to halftime yet.
Lane opens up, and she'll lay it in. Well, you just can't sleep for a second.
And you have to have your head touch for Caitlin Clark. They are tracking her every move that she makes.
Clark will loft it up there and swish it in with a 3. Such a
mental fortitude that you need to compete at your highest level and be a star in your role.
Inside, Clark will add to the total.
Warnock. Both teams had double buys, so they didn't play until Friday, but still their third game in as many days. Clark backs up and hits nothing but net.
Third shoot the basketball because she was not a very good three-point shooter, only 1 of 5 a year ago, but she's now shooting at 38%. You have to respect it as Caitlin Clark goes to work.
This time Clark shows she can take you to go along with 27 points, 7.5 rebounds, and she does also a great job of getting to the free throw line.
That's where she's improved the most, in how she finishes off of 2 feet.
Ohio State had been starting, now coming off the bench for Coach McGuff, gets some size. Caitlin Clark yelling to the crowd.
Well, look, and the way that you make it hard on her, and she's seen it all year long, is physicality. It's closing up the gap. You cannot give her any space because she's going to make you pay. And Pam, look, all season long.
Appreciating Stokey and a falter for their efforts. Clark, again, just needs maybe a foot. 31-point lead in the championship game. Clark cleans up her own miss. Iowa plus 12 in rebounding in this game, and Caitlin Clark knocks down yet another with the bucket. Then Caitlin Clark attacks the rim.
8 assists a game, and this is why. Long passes that are right into the shooting pocket of one Monica Sonano, who returned for a 5th year.
And then she nails her first 3. A hot start for
Brenda Freeze said she had a loss in her family recently and was very emotional once they got here, but it was good to see her play the way that she was.
Caitlin Clark drains another one. She's 2 for 2 from long. See the pressure from Miller and Sellers once she crosses half court. From Minnetonka, Caitlin Clark, another 3.
She wanted to do from the 3-point line.
That would have been quite a play by Sellers. Couldn't quite get the spin. Caitlin Clark. That's what she does, just right.
Carver Hawkeye Arena.
Both teams have the same colors, so it's hard to tell who's who, but we can tell when Clark hits shots like that.
Already eat for Laisha Petrie. And Clark pushing, and that's exactly what she does. Full head of steam for 2.
You gotta stop Caitlin Clark.
2 of her attempts yesterday, none bigger than the one with 4.1 seconds left. Here's Clark off glass, too pretty.
What do you do with a player like
All but in.
Man, that thing popped out like somebody hit it from underneath.
Caitlin Clark, what can't she do? Quickly gets it out to Kate Martin. Walton's been so solid against her. Clark finds herself free, and she's got it.
Purdue staying right in the thick of things.
Caitlin Clark pounds it into the paint, gets right to the rim.
Through that traffic for a bucket. I mean, she's just so tough-minded. And that's why I said at this juncture of the season, it's all about your mentality.
Caitlin Clark, 3 for 3. It's too strong. And Caitlin Clark will push it up the floor. Clark, yes!
Player who has to get everyone involved, the player with the ball in her hands a lot. So yes, it's going to be important for her.
Her first one of the day, got it from three-point land. So she's off to a terrific start.
Right now is feeding off it. The question is, can they sustain it as this first quarter continues to go on?
Clark, there she goes again. Yes! Number 2, last seconds of the quarter. In for Clark. Trying to make a move on the drive. Gets it in!
The efficiency we're seeing in terms of shooting in this game.
I think you have to love it. If you're a basketball fan, Clark, look at this move. Little give and go. In the paint. Yes! That's dazzling. So 32-29 Iowa. Indiana with just 3 turnovers so far. Clark catches, fires, and swishes.
Great decision. More
5 to get off a shot. They want Clark to touch it. Clark with a runner, banks it in. All variety of shots. Time for sides pulled right away. Clark with a scoop, went right to the cup for 2. And give her 18. Little contact there. Clark just bounces off that, drops it in, and she'll go to the line. We can hear him from time to time.
A little tiny pocket's better than no pocket at all, Dave O'Brien.
Definitely. Clark, oh shit, everybody, and the foul too. What a cagey play.
And
everything for her team. She reminded them they've got 4 timeouts here. Use one to avoid a turnover. Then she challenged them to do better on the boards, boxing out, and turn up the heat on Grace Berger. They think that number 34 is getting too
hard to limit their vision when they catch and get an open field for a 3.
Parrish also a very good rebounder. Clark with a one-hander off the backboard. Keep your eye on number 22. Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires and goes!
First part of the season, and it is a good time to get hot.
Miller misses that shot. Here comes Caitlin Clark, yet to shoot today. That didn't take long. Book it.
Mike, you can't wait to get Caitlin Clark.
Listen, they're the reigning Big Ten champions. They're the reigning Big Ten tournament champions. It's not that they don't want that this year. What they really want is a deep run in March. Clark unloads from deep. Caitlin's second three-pointer. There's a turnover, and the Hawks are going to try to run. Clark pounded by Bree McDaniel all the way to the lane.
And that's where it can get dangerous. You've got to get somebody in front. You can't.
She hit 9 3-pointers.
Well, and Mike, you're used to seeing Caitlin Clark all over the floor, right? With the ball, without the ball. I mean, like great scorers do, logging a lot of miles during the game.
That provides. This Maryland team makes them so scary entering the month of March. Clark hits the 3. She's up to 18, so she will surpass her. Building on hand as Nebraska searches for what would be one of the signature wins for their NCAA tournament resume. Caitlin Clark wastes no time hitting her first shot, and Iowa strikes first.
The depth and the outstanding play in the Big Ten.
Caitlin Clark, another one from deep, her second 3 so far today.
That's just so smooth. She got her.
And they're watching Jazz Shelley give herself 9 points on the afternoon, but Caitlin Clark wastes no time in answering.
I think that was about 3 seconds of time. There's a ball screen there.
Almost a 3-minute scoring drought for the Hawkeyes, and that comes to a close with Clark, a 5-footer.
They had good spacing on that possession.
Clark off the glass and good. She'll head to the line with a 3-point play. 5.
She took the bump right there defensively. Got McKenna Warnock in the air.
Clark at the logo. Book it! Another logo shot for number 22. First half at 12 points. That's only her second missed field goal of the day. Clark, a deep 3. She's feeling it. 20 points for Caitlin Clark.
She fought for that board, though. That's what they need. They need that fight for possessions.
Caitlin Clark now has 26.
Well executed out of bounds.
Another one. Marshall has it. Clark's trying to call a timeout. Instead, she steals it for an easy 2.
Oh, I said to fake a pass, to say the least.
Caitlin Clark sitting on 28 points. Jazz Shelley made it impossible for her to score, but she does it again.
Out on the left baseline, working the perimeter. Molly Davis looking for Sinano. They skip past. Now back on top. Clark shot from 27 and good for Caitlin Clark.
You knew she was going to get one early.
And that breaks a dry spell of about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Here's Caitlin Clark off the board. Nice jump from 10 feet away.
Hawkeyes have really answered since that.
Dribble, she'll shoot the 12-footer. Back of the iron, not good. And McKenna Warnock down with the rebound. Here comes Caitlin Clark on the move on the inside. Long 3-ball, yes! Easily 30 to
of the game so far today.
Well, she started the game with that first triple. On the inside, Caitlin Clark. Nice reverse layup with the right hand and a score.
That was nasty.
Great way to describe it, man. Schramek working on Sinano, goes up for the shot and misses it badly. Handles rebounded by Caitlin Clark. Here she races into the front court, going to go all the way to the basket for the layup. Unstoppable. Iowa. Wilkie picking her up right at the half-court line. That's even more dangerous. And it gives her an opportunity to go around you. Here's Caitlin, wide open 3 from the left wing. Instant offense.
It's 2.
Clark quickly into the front court of Folter. Guarded by Copeland. Now it's McKenna Warnock with Maddie Wilkie on her out on top. Caitlin Clark. Warnock, Caitlin Clark, and Hannah Stolke. Clark on the right side working on Posh Pishvalova.
Oh my.
Got her feet tangled up. I think it was a 2-point into the bench. 77-53. Hawks going to have to shore that up a little bit. We had talked about it in the first half with how quick Wisconsin is for those backdoor cuts. As Caitlin Clark.
Active Iowa team, but really mandatory with the way they're able to score so quickly, not giving extra possessions. Caitlin Clark starts things off with a 3. It was 5-0 Iowa. In some foul trouble, she was limited against Indiana. Clark takes it away and goes all the way.
Just tough. It's like she has a second gear of speed.
Marshall immediately gets her head up. Clark steps into it.
And Clark, for every pass like that, she's going to make 5 good plays.
Clark off a curl, walks to a lane.
Well, there's one good play. She is.
We had that T-shirt made up last year, and they sent me one. I was like, oh wow, that's awesome.
Caitlin Clark, her first shot of 3.
How about
To fathom, but she shot 47% from downtown over the last 2 games. And here she is again, back-to-back 3s.
I mean, look out.
Here is Clark, no points in the quarter. And changes that with a step back rattling down.
She knew she hadn't scored yet.
Taft, Parrish back on the floor with 2 fouls. Up ahead to Clark. Wiggles past Berger. And the reverse off the window is good.
Goodness.
Them decided by 7 points or less. This has traditionally been a very tightly contested matchup. How about that shot?
Goodness.
Stepping
Hey,
away
man.
from the right hand and knocking it down.
And that's what they need her to do. That's why she needs to stay on the floor and stay disciplined defensively.
Right back the other way. Caitlin Clark on skates, putting it off the window.
Oh, Grace Berger. She is just bringing her A game to the floor
Caitlin
tonight.
Clark, are you kidding me?
See?
Falling to the floor and one opportunity. Holmes comes off the bench and lays it in with the left hand, and now Holmes up to 14.
And there's Mackenzie Holmes coming alive for the Hoosiers. I can't even finish my sentence. And then Caitlin.
Tipped away by Clark into the front court. And Clark stops the 7-0 Indiana run.
Garzone with those 4 fouls didn't want to do anything. Up this record crowd of over 13,000.
Clark hesitates and drops it in. And one opportunity for Caitlin Clark.
A change of pounds, but she has really put IU on her back in the second half.
Caitlin Clark responds, putting the team on her back. And that is the 5th foul on. Hopefully for my wife's sake is asleep right now. 87-76. Clark. Desperation time for Iowa. And it's
getting that first meeting. Another look in the paint for Penn State. Tania Thompson can't get it to go off glass. Caitlin Clark, she'll go all the way.
Again, stop ball. Clark was able to get from the
range J and a rebound to Monica Sinano. But Caitlin Clark second in the nation in assists per game. She also does that.
So nobody's picking her up in a Penn State jersey. You have to stop the ball, but the moment she drives, that help comes over, and Maurice has had no room to maneuver.
Clark up and under. She makes anything look easy.
That looks kind of hard, I'm going to be honest.
5 seconds on the clock for Davis. Clark, step back, yes.
Clark generates so much separation on that step back that she's able to.
Stolke secures the board.
I thought she got foul going up on that.
40 seconds on the Clark. And here is Clark for 3.
Clark reads it, tries to get.
Thompson picked off by Clark, one-on-one against Chesky, and she gets the upper hand. Clark finds herself with a good look, and another offensive rebound keeps it with Iowa. Clark uses her body and one. Clark with power will get it back and put it back up and in.
I think she just did that to try to get an extra rebound for herself on here. That's a joke, everybody. That was sarcasm.
Well, that is her 22nd game of at least 20 points, and can she add more?
And you gotta wonder.
And Ryan, significant that Diamond Miller picked up that foul early. A couple of games ago, she got into foul trouble against Michigan, fouled out.
Clark, oh yeah! Off to a hot start. Won't go for Abby Myers, the transfer from Princeton, who's made a huge impact on Maryland. Clark rattles in another. A long 2 for Caitlin Clark.
She's been a great defender. Sophomore year, she's really upped her offensive game as well.
You could see 2xing her scoring as Clark gets to the bucket again. Caitlin Clark, number 6 Iowa against number 8 Maryland, a 9-6 lead early on, and Caitlin Clark already with 9 points.
Simply just changing pace. She passed Diamond Miller, exploding to the basket. Iowa just hasn't had really much difficulty at all with Maryland's D.
Clark again. Caitlin Clark sizzling. Maryland has done enough on the offensive end to not let Iowa run away as they've been efficient. Clark connects, plus the foul. 35-24, Iowa in front. Clark will fire. You bet! From O'Hare, Caitlin Clark.
Maybe attack Diamond Miller, see if you can pick up a third before the half.
Davis finds Clark again. Caitlin Clark is
an OG Chiefs fan, not new to the party, and she is excited to represent the Chiefs on Sunday.
Clark excited about a wide open corner 3 as well.
Who would have thought that?
And Clark with the rebound. Clark gets fouled and banks it in. A chance for 3 for Myers now with 5 in the quarter on these last couple possessions. Clark surveying, firing, and hitting. Yeah,
using her size over smaller defenders when she takes them off the bounce and finishes.
Here's Clark, turns the corner and lays it in. Caitlin Clark with another 30-point night. She's up.
Her favorite is Airheads, and if Airheads doesn't give her an NIL deal, I don't know what, but that is how she's gained this basketball weight.
Well, no, Holly, I would say it's in spite of the snack drawer. I think the basketball 20.
We're getting a little too fancy at the end there, but overall, nice momentum by Nebraska.
Clark, there you go. Caitlin Clark gets
puts Iowa on the board. Dakota, in fact, made a run to the Sweet 16 last year before losing to Michigan and then transferring to Nebraska. There's Clark. That's what she does. She's hit 2 from deep.
And the tough part, I mean, you saw how extended.
Clark keeping her dribble alive, and the pivot foot spin for 2.
A lot of things you love about that, but Caitlin Clark has missed a couple. Iowa showing a zone look here.
And turning Nebraska over. Clark, you better stop her. Tied at 23. Timeout. Unable to finish. Bourne.
That was a dime, though. You said it.
Well, Shelley almost got the steal. How about Clark? Oh, she is so smooth. Gustafson, who was the National Player of the Year here in 2019 on that Elite 8 squad. Here's Clark looking for 2 more, and she's got them.
Side to side. I mean, in the fact that Lisa Bluter was open in saying that the expectations felt different, and not to mention,
there's Clark again.
This Iowa team behind Caitlin Clark comes in. Clark just trips a little bit.
Izzy Bourne saying, I didn't touch her.
I didn't see it either, but
Clark, top of the arc, yes! That stops the 12-0 run.
Iowa cashes in.
Season and now trying to stack another win on top of it. Clark, step back. That's pure.
Gets to her spot.
How does that change the offense?
Well, offensively, you've got to attack off the perimeter, not just settle for threes.
There's the first points for Caitlin Clark.
Let's see. Terrific footwork from the post game of both teams have it.
Caitlin Clark! From deep. South, but can't finish the layup. Clark does the same, back the other way. Around Mikulášíková.
I didn't know if
Theory holds the follow through, but it won't drop in. Clark. Got it! She's a beat. Clark with the steal. Caitlin Clark with the layup.
Caitlin Clark talked about
Clark gets a 2.
now, one of the things Ohio State was supposed to do.
Clark get open. She's open now. Caitlin Clark puts her over the 20 mark. She's got 22, 10 assists. Clark had to get herself some room, and man, she can just work.
You can put different size players. Now Martin has it. Both teams really trying to involve the post players early. Clark gets a screen, pulls up, wing triple, got it.
You cannot give Clark an inch.
Hawkeyes trying to weather the storm. Clark spinning, throwing up a circus shot, and one.
And Clark finally gets one of those to drop. She's had quite. And watch
Let's
again
look at
here
it.
Is Clark.
Ooh,
yeah, it did.
It might have. Break for Iowa. Can they take advantage? You know it. Caitlin Clark knocks down the triple. Susie Merchant.
And she found the spacing, but just couldn't get it to drop.
Clark coming around the screen. Turnaround jumper is good.
Gotta hit that for Clark.
Wrong. Clark brings down the board, trying to push for Iowa. Spinning into the lane, hanging and finishing. Caitlin Clark evens things at 48.
Clark.
Ooh. Working on Joyner. Going to the lane, spinning, fadeaway. Got it! Caitlin Clark silences the crowd.
Jake Chesky, the freshman, popped it in for Penn State. Caitlin Clark's first points of the game roll in.
We spoke to Penn State head coach Carolyn Keeger before this, the help side and preventing that easy look from Martin to Sonano.
There's an open look for Caitlin Clark. Don't ever do that.
You can't forget the inbounder. 9:30 a.m. and she was like, this is early, guys. It's like, I agree.
Oh, wonderful give and go as Clark inbounds it and gets it right back.
Sonano and Clark just have a...
Clark forces a turnover on the other end. Caitlin Clark, knock it off.
I mean, she's just playing.
Such a contrast. You see the ball moving by the Hawkeyes, leads to an open Caitlin Clark three.
I mean, wide open Clark three because she comes off the screen.
Back at how frequently they're doing the press, but Iowa hasn't allowed them the opportunity to do it so far today.
Well, no, because they're scoring like that as quick as possible.
Clark with two and a chance for three. Clark to Sonano. Sonano to Clark.
I'm impressed with Sonano's passing. Just the...
Clark, way too open.
Have been achieved with steals in the category.
I'll tell you what, her teammate did it. McKenna Marisa last year had a triple-double with steals. It was only the second time ever in the Big Ten that happened.
Warnock swings it to Martin. Inside, low block. Good dump inside. Sonano can't handle it. Clark, long three. Got it. Tied at 10 on the Clark three ball.
What a shot there by.
Goes to Clark. Dribble drive, shakes off the defender, comes back to the right hand and scores the layup. Hawks up 14-10. Warnock back to Davis. Gives it to Clark. Long three again. Got that one. Coach McEwen wants
Old-fashioned Caitlin Clark three.
Clark with good defense there. Swat that away. Martin looks for three. Clark feeling it. Passed one, the ball back. Got it. She is gassed though.
And you got to realize that they're the athletic team right now.
Sonano back out to Clark for three. Short, but catches the rim and rolls in. Clark now with
11 from the floor too. She's doing it efficiently.
Clark takes loud of the hoop. Step back, pull up, top of the key.
Oh my.
Friendly rim. Not a whole lot you can do there if you're...
Enjoy one pet adoption at a time. Pet of the Week, sponsored by Purina.
Head out on the pig trail every Sunday night. It's a full half hour of
towards it. Filio defending. Michigan's top defender in a two-player game between Sonano and Clark, and it's the second bucket for Caitlin Clark. They just have such good synergy. Oh, Maddie Nolan, a senior on this roster. Scored a bucket for Caitlin Clark. 6 now for Clark. Differential between game and shot clock. Clark, one of those distance attempts, strings it up. Look out! Her first. There to Caitlin Clark. I think rebound has to be more aggressive offensively for Michigan. She's sliding into that point guard role as Caitlin Clark gets to the rim again for 2. And I think sometimes when you do, your mentality changes. For the rebound. McKenna Warnock coming down with it. That was a heck of a rebound. That was a heck of a rebound. Almost all one-handed. Caitlin Clark in the end one. I think Michigan can look for some more of that in the half court too. Great cut. Clark takes it inside. Iowa. That's not surprising. This is a team that averages 86 points a ball game, 90 in conference play. They're going to continue to come at you. But the shots like that, where she doesn't have a hand up and a hand in her face. Molly Davis kicks it back out. Marshall taking a peek inside and a touch to Sonano. A back cut for Clark. And execution at a high level for Iowa. And the timing. And Lisa Bluter takes a look at her superstar and says, settle down and slow down. As Caitlin Clark lowers her head, goes right through the whole Michigan defense for that. She's right at her average with 27. Caitlin Clark.
Attention to where the defender is in regards to being afraid of getting blocked. She just focuses on the finish.
Caitlin Clark, her first points of the afternoon, most likely not her last.
Another player who put last season, but now she's taking that next step by looking to score more.
That's a really fun matchup between her and Sonano today. Caitlin Clark behind the screen, drills a 3.
The moment Caitlin Clark, Kate Martin is the niece of Iowa assistant coach Jan Jensen and has just loved Iowa her whole life.
Oh, what a tough drive from Caitlin Clark. Just adding on to that. No points in the last 3 minutes and change on this end for Iowa. Caitlin Clark trying to change that. She does.
And Coach Green was furious. She got it to the basket. I don't know how she did that.
Just brilliant basketball today. At the opposite end, Clark a quick answer.
I got to catch my breath for a minute.
I do too.
My goodness.
Wants to do next. Loves having the ball in her hands. Wow, Caitlin Clark. Not a surprise, but it always just makes. Iowa got away with one there. Odin had plenty of room. That's enough room for Clark to knock down a three.
One player you don't want.
Marshall in transition. Couldn't finish. Caitlin Clark trying to clean it up and does.
As a team, when you have a teammate going down to try to score.
Still clinging on to that 4-point lead inside of the final 6 minutes of this thriller. Clark a step back three.
That's her signature move, the step back to her.
Possession game. Clark trying for a quick answer. Wow.
The old anything you can do, I can do better.
The suspects playing their best this afternoon. Clark, that's a tough three. Wow!
She loves the step back from right to left.
To Purdue being successful, not individuals being successful, but for this team.
Caitlin Clark, a hand in her face does not matter.
Not a lot to have a couple of good games back to back. She scored 8 points in each of the last 2 games for Purdue.
Clark, step back, yes.
So tough to defend.
And that was something Coach Gerald says, no logo threes in this game, as Clark gets free and sinks the long range two. It was her left, exaggerating her angle against the All-American as the clock ticks down to 5. Beautiful give and go and a 3 to ignite this crowd. So a moment to respond for the Boilermakers, a team that's 10-2 this season. Got off to the best non-conference record since Katie Gerald's freshman year. And there's Caitlin Clark with her second.
Clark can go any direction on you at any time.
Martin into the paint. A lot of black jerseys. That leaves open Caitlin Clark, and she drills the 3.
Rounding guard already with 7 rebounds. You talked about the double-doubles she's had that don't have anything to do with points.
Caitlin Clark trying to put an end to this cold streak.
Sonano definitely making up for, like we said, a less than stellar performance from her usually, but already making up for it. Hasn't missed yet.
Davis with the deflection. Martin with a good pass. Lobs into Sonano. Back out to Martin. Thought about the 3. Gave it back to Clark. Clark will take the 3. Got it. Kate Martin's 9th assist. Side. Misses. Rebound goes to Clark. Clark pushes it up. Draws the contact. Gets the bucket. Not much Allie Harlan. Clark shakes to the left. Pull up from 18. Spins around the world and in. Well, handoff play. Gives it to Stokey. Martin back to Clark for 3. Give her 20.
Yeah, I mean, I only missed about 2 in the pregame.
Clark gives to Warnock. Clark beats Morgan to the hoop and scores a layup.
Boxing out, she does rely on her athleticism a lot. I think that burned the Hawkeyes right there.
Clark mid-range. Got it. Good high ball screen there. Sonano set one, freed her up. Clark lobs it to the corner for Marshall. Clark step back 3. Rattles it home. Hawks needed that one. Clark with some space. Scores. Good mid-range baseline jumper there.
And the Hawkeyes are pulling ahead. They hit a big 3, they hit a big shot, and this game is still going.
Clark, pull-up jumper. Got it. She's got 24. Hawks sits at the scorer's table, can't get back in the game. Pull-up jumper, Clark. So good, so smooth.
She has decided now.
Sonano, the best in field goal percentage in the country, so efficient, so effective. The fact that she now has her second foul, that is bad, bad news for Minnesota.
Sidestepping to the paint for 2.
And how about Borovich showing a good, I'll just let you call that.
Caitlin Clark slices through in the other direction.
Find open teammates, they throw it away there, but they've got that attack mentality.
Minnesota trying to thread the needle. Clark in rhythm. Yes.
Big shot.
Her head coach, and you can see that playing out in that matchup. Clark quickly pulls the trigger, doesn't hit anything as she swishes it through.
And Misha is even there with...
Cuts back the other way, so smooth for the freshman.
Continuing to attack, being aggressive with the ball.
Didn't close out quickly enough on Clark. The action tips off tomorrow at 4 Eastern on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Clark on the run, cannot stop that.
So quickly to the other end. A lot of tickets are being bought just so people can see Caitlin Clark in person. She is worth the price of admission.
Doesn't even need to come down going for that offensive board. Gabby Marshall setting up this half-court offense for the Hawkeyes. Clark patient in the paint, the reverse and 1. Battle.
Again, just showing that toughness and that confidence battle.
Look at the synergy between those two.
Know that they're going to work hard, and it's so good to go to practice every day, having a team that you know that is their attitude coming into a game.
Caitlin Clark lets it rain here in the 4th. Test. Clark was calling for it, liked what she was seeing against Battle, and puts it away.
Lo administrativamente, mi querido Alex, 20 millas que estamos hablando de 38 kilómetros de diferencia,
sí,
¿no,
más
Alex?
o menos,
Aproximadamente.
Sí, aproximadamente.
Excelente ahí de Suárez. Y otra vez, y fíjate, 11 puntos sin respuesta. ¡Ah! Pero Caitlin Clark responde con uno de 3. Te lo dije antes de que fuera esta segunda mitad. ¿A quién vas a alimentar cuando detectaste eso? A Suárez. Caitlin Clark, por fin.
Daria juntas y ahora pues teniendo esa rivalidad siempre difícil, y estoy de acuerdo, creo que la que tenga el balón en la última ofensiva, ¡qué disparo tremendo!
Entra y bonita la canasta, pese al buen trabajo defensivo de Addison O'Grady, que levantó las manos muy técnicamente. Caitlin Clark de 3, Alex. Alguien que haciendo eso, pierden el balón porque le alcanza a pegar en el pie. Y ahora sí, Caitlin Clark dice, voy sola. Se mete y consigue los puntos.
Sí, creo que vamos a llegar al punto donde Iowa State va a empezar a cometer faltas para tratar de buscar ese balón ofensivamente.
The season so far. That's Warnock. Passes back to Clark, driving towards the basket, and there's a layup made by Caitlin Clark. Folks, big bodies down low in the paint. Caitlin Clark now facing some pressure from Wilkie and Pospisilova, but oh my goodness, look at Caitlin Clark. Outmaneuver 2 players on the up. That one goes off the rim too, rebounded by Caitlin Clark. And here come the Hawkeyes. Clark with her first 3-point shot of the game, and it is made. Absolutely drilled that one. That Williams free throw is good. So Wisconsin on a bit of a run here, but here comes Caitlin Clark right back using that speed, and it just does not stop from Caitlin Clark. Automatic. Over to Marshall. Marshall trying to figure out what she's going to do. Passes it to Stulke. Back to Clark. Clark with a shot from the logo, and it is made. Caitlin Clark. The Best of Us. Still pretty nice seats for a great game between two great teams in the Big Ten today. Absolutely. Caitlin Clark now driving forward, jump shot, and it's in. I mean, she's automatic. We don't even need to say if it's in or not at this point when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Half, though, for Wisconsin. Get the ball down low in the paint. Try to use a little bit of your size advantage with your forwards.
So Caitlin Clark with that layup. And I believe that's her first points of the second half here. She's had a really good day so far with free throws and shooting from the court.
And she's been the next best player all year behind Pospisilova.
Oh my goodness, Caitlin Clark. You just cannot block that. Using that speed on that gadget right there.
Kia Brown-Turner is a good perimeter defender, but Caitlin Clark just shook her off like she was dust.
I mean, that's the thing about Caitlin Clark is that
now in the starting lineup. Clark, all she needs is about a millimeter of space.
And the step back. So she's bringing it down the floor, and you have to both.
And you see the numbers. They actually go up when she plays against top 10 teams. She got 9.
And Pam, I think that
the first quarter and get close. The headline here is Monica Sonano not only hasn't scored, but hasn't taken a shot. She's good.
She is, and again,
score sheet. And it's a 3-point ball game. Caitlin Clark makes it a 5-point ball game.
We did the Steph Curry comparison in the open, but like
Clark with the pick. And she's showing there. I mean, she's got good speed. She's got really good ability.
And then kicking for those threes. They're getting a foot in the paint, forcing a little bit of a rotation, and then getting a three after that. But you can't trade threes with Iowa.
Not when they have her, especially. Draws the offensive foul on the drive. Here's Clark. Another 20-point ball game.
That was great poise, execution against the zone, get the ball in the high post, and work from there.
Clark with another fadeaway. She has matched her jersey number 12. Coach Bluter says go. They clear out for Caitlin. Has 30 points tonight, second time this season she's hit it. But NC State has done a good job defensively as Caitlin gets her first field goal make of the second half to start high in points, which had been only 9. She has doubled that. Clark's first three of the second. In the lane, the fans wanted a 3-second call. Instead, they got a miss. Clark from the logo! Johnson on the other end.
Well, you better be careful. There might be another one coming right here.
Here she goes.
You can see it when she's got the ball in her hand.
Every time.
I don't think you can go underneath that double screen with Diamond Johnson. She lives for these moments, as does Caitlin Clark on the other end.
Caitlin Clark with 43, 3 off.
Everybody's getting involved.
You mentioned Diamond Johnson. She now has 20 points for the game. That is a new season high.
Huskies have stretched it to 6, trying to run it. Caitlin Clark read that pass, takes it back the other way, and Mule challenges her, but Clark with the finish.
Yeah, Nika Mule already with 1 foul, so she was smart, went behind where she could dive, and it was just well executed there from big to big.
Clark on the cut, and 1. Clock expires, rebounded by Clark. Clark on the run with the push and the finish. 8 points for Clark against Clark for 2. Clark, tough shot. She makes tough shots, and she'll go to the line to try to finish off a 3-point play.
Good box out by Warnock. Oh. Did you see the separation she created with the step back?
3 minutes to go in the first half. Phil Knight Legacy Championship game here at the Moda Center in Portland. Well, Nika Mule did all she could defensively, but Clark beats good defense. We've seen that for 3.
Nobody got out to Martin.
Clark saw that pass coming all the way. Things just a little loose, a little soft for Connecticut, and Gino Auriemma's calling a timeout, and this is
to cut through the lane.
Viola's done a great job on Clark, but Clark is left open for the deep three!
Leah Edwards, that was supposed to be a switch.
Ducharme stays hot.
What a great play. Caroline Ducharme has good size.
Clark steps into a deep three. It's never over if Caitlin Clark.
Alexis Aaron with the miss, and now here's Clark being aggressive to the hoop.
And Scott Rook told us we cannot allow them to get out.
By O'Grady, Madison O'Grady, number 44, gives Iowa some quality minutes, and that's a quality move by Clark.
And again, you see the balance.
Anybody I've ever coached, which is saying something.
And he said it straight face, because I thought for a moment, considering some of the greats he's had, that he was like, maybe, but he said right now she is.
Caitlin Clark. Clark defended by Yaney. Going to be
so good.
Yep.
I mean, right there, she had an opportunity.
Caitlin. Martin, second chance. Clark buries it.
Kate Martin, that's too big offense.
Working hard. Clark pulls it, nails it.
Over the top of you, fine, she does. What you don't want to do is allow her to get by and just pick you apart and then play soft and she gets open looks. Like that's a shot that she's going to make. Now, if I'm playing Caitlin Clark in that situation, I'm not letting her.
From a rebound perspective, trip before last, Mitrovic takes that outside shot. There are no rebounders for Oregon State, and that allows Iowa to get out and run.
Clark just getting around Yaney like she's invisible. Kate Martin got a hand on that, and now 2-on-1. Clark with a little head fake and then rolled it in.
The look off. I like the look off.
Loose ball, battled for. Here comes Clark streaking down the left side.
You see just how she's always got her eyes moving, so different.
Clark finally gets one to go, and she'll have a chance at a three-point play. Just her. Manning just picked up her second for the Beavers. Right-handed floater.
Last game all in the second half. So she can shoot it. Clark fakes the pull, fade away, count it. Tied at 14. Belmont. Bruins retake the lead. Clark to the hoop. Bartley steps in late, gets the foul. Clark gets the bucket. O'Grady fighting for position, comes out, sets the screen. Clark takes the left-hand fade away from the baseline. That is too good.
That's beautiful basketball there. There's
back to Clark, 10 to shoot. Clark pull-up jumper, got it. After a tough, really tough 6 on the wing. Sonano, big battle on the block with Bartley. Clark, fade away 3. Oh my goodness.
Caitlin Clark, stop.
Steal, Clark on the push.
That's a pull-up.
You know it's going up. She got it.
Heat check, and she makes it. Ball, and the rest are going in.
Uh-oh. Turnover at the top of the key. Caitlin Clark gets the layup. 8 straight points. Hawks by 11. 15 misses. McKenna Warnock, great rebound. Caitlin Clark, pull up 3. Look out.
Wow. She's unstoppable.
Tootie Jones. Hawks have had a little bit more trouble. Martin back out to Clark. Uses the Sonano screen. Pull-up jumper from 19. Caitlin Clark's kind of got that zone going on.
No field goals in over 5.5 minutes.
Clark takes the screen, takes Miller to the hoop, leans in, gets the roll. Caitlin Clark has 29 points a game.
Caitlin Glenn, as you mentioned, part of the G-force for K-State. Two Glenn twins guarding Clark. Fade away the baseline. She's on the board.
And she can keep her dribble alive, allows the offense.
K-State starts the second half the way they started the game, with except for Shamatsi in place of Lauterbach. Clark clears and buries the three.
Yeah,
Chances close to the rim in this third quarter and have missed both. Clark against Sundell, spinning, shooting, scoring!
And that's vintage Caitlin Clark right there, just able to establish and control.
Thought about it for a moment. Here's Clark, stutter step, explodes through a double team and scores.
And that's what happens, is that patience. And when you move without the basketball and make
Finish. Clark the other way. Finishes on the right side.
Slice and dice, and you've got to have some help side. Somebody.
Fourth-ranked Iowa on the road in Manhattan, tied in the fourth. Clark, step back three. Got it!
Her coach knew the minute.
Have to think for as many times as they've gone after her.
Christina Beer played at Waukee High School and Clark at Dowling Catholic, so plenty of rivalries between those two as Clark slices in and scores for the first time. That time, she goes down. Sonano clears the rebound. Clark pulls out for three and nails it. Clark, who got the senior from Cincinnati.
And you can see why Coach Bluter talked about the fact that they needed to get back in transition defensively, and they did a good job that time. Bulldogs did get a good look at it. Got the
headlines the others do, but she's significantly important to the Hawkeye attack. Clear out for Clark, drives in, and gets fouled by Meyer and has a chance at an and one. Comes to Hannah Stolke. Off the baseline, the score by Clark.
That's just tough to stop. Everybody goes to the other side of the floor.
Thought she had just as good an angle as the officials did.
Well, if anybody did, she did. She was right there.
Clark for three. 5 of 11 for three, almost 7 minutes. Bulldogs' biggest lead was 9 early in the second quarter. Hawkeyes' biggest lead 4 in the third quarter. Here's Clark. You can't keep her down forever, and after missing Berg. Iowa with the basketball and a 2-point lead at 2.5 left to play. Clark gets the screen, hits the three. Sonano with the screen.
And Bear put it to the ground again for the double dribble.
Caitlin Clark challenged by Dennebeer. What a great matchup that has been this afternoon. Clark all the way to score.
Long jumper short. Warnock with the rebound. Clark pushes. Weaves her way through traffic. Pulls up from 15. Count it. 4-0 Hawks lead.
What a beautiful little. One of the 2 turnovers that the Hawkeyes have came off of that same pass where there was a help defender and they stole it. So definitely got to watch out.
Clark, long three. Count it. Caitlin Clark, 5 quick points. 7-2 Hawkeyes. Good block there. Clark with the rebound. Caitlin Clark with the rebound. Long three again. Got it! Wow. Little fadeaway heat check, yes. Caitlin Clark pick at the top of the key. She's got a free run at the layup. And she makes it. Hawks now on an 11-0 run. Davis, quick handoff to Clark. Maya Clark on her, off the glass, rolls it in. Ball goes to the corner. Quick steal from Clark. See if she can do it again. She'll take this one to the hoop herself and score. Timeout, Evansville.
The Hawkeye.
Maya Clark with 8 now. Caitlin Clark in the lane. Fouled. Count it. Just another. She's got 8 quick points now. Clark takes advantage of Sinclair got beat. Tried for the old Fieldhouse wrapper. And Clark's going to have seen about all kinds of defense here. Nothing's really going to be new for her. Clark pull-up jumper. Got it. Hawks with the first bucket at 2-0. The rebound.
Of course, yeah, it's definitely not dirty. And what they're doing is just being real physical. But Caitlin Clark's different.
Clark hits Iowa. Martin Sonano gets it. Waits for Martin to get up. Gives it to Clark. Heat check. Got it!
Wow.
Clark 30-12. Martin, good dribble drive handoff. Clark gets the layup.
That is a set you will see out of free throws every
3-point line, 11 for 13 from the free throw line. Sonano lobs it to Clark on the block, gets it down and scores.
You gotta love her showing that post.
Dribbles to the top. Stelkew checked in. Sonano. Clark, deep three.
Wow.
Count it. That's her.